How about now? Any sound? Can you hear me? Still no sound? No sound still? Yeah? Are you able to hear me? Do I have sound? Yes. Okay, there it goes. Man, I don't know why I've been having issues with this, man. Okay, cool. At least it's good now. Y'all are able to hear me. Um, yeah, man. How's everybody doing today, man? I'm doing pretty good. Again, I'm running a little bit late. Just been pretty busy today. One of those days, just busy days. But I'm doing good, man. Can't complain. Ready to get started as well. Um, but yeah, man. Hopefully all of y'all doing good. Let's see. All right, cool. All right, man. Well, let's get started, man. I know I did get your request about Lambda event bridge and all that. So pretty much what we'll do, we'll kind of walk through the process of getting our files together. I do have tequila today, like always. I gotta have some tequila. So the tequila I'm drinking today is this bottle, uh, Fontaraz, if I pronounced it right. So this bottle, this is supposed to be the good stuff. It's actually my first time trying this tequila, but I'm very excited because I've heard a lot of good things about this tequila, man. Um, it's so I'm drinking the blanco of the tequila. I like blanco. I know not everybody likes blanco. They prefer the other ones, but I like blanco, and it's not cheap. How much did I pay for the bottle? Like 50 something, maybe around there, 55. But it's hard to find. I couldn't find it nowhere. I've been wanting to buy it. I went to a new store today, and of course they had them. They had a lot of other ones too that I've been trying to find. It just they're pretty pricey. Some of the other one that they had, I think another bottle goes for like $90. Another one's like 120. So I'll be buying those later on. Then of course test them out, see how good they taste. But this is one of the ones that I've been wanting to try out for a while, and I have heard a lot of good things about this bottle. So let's see how good it is or how not good it is. But this is supposed to be like the good stuff of tequila. So let's see. The smell, man, it has a real good smell to it. Like I love the tequila smell, like the agaves, like something about it, man. I love that smell. I really do. And it's not like super strong. I feel like whenever it's very strong, it's because they're adding additives to it to kind of give it the flavor. This is like no 100% no additives, very done the authentic way, the way it should be done. Smells good. Smells real good. Let's see how good it tastes. Dude, it's smooth. I gotta say, it has a nice flavor to it, and then it goes down real smooth. I like the flavors. Like you could taste the flavors, but it has like when I don't know how to explain it, but you kind of taste the agave a little bit. It has some good flavors to it. Then it just kind of goes down real smooth, and you get a little bit of the heat, very small though, not much, but it just has a very and then once it goes down, you kind of almost like taste the flavor still of the tequila. It's good, man. I gotta say, this is not bad at all. Again, it was, how much did I pay? Like 55 maybe or so for this bottle. This bottle hard to find, dude. I cannot find it. I tried other stores, couldn't find it. I tried to order it, get it online. They don't ship to where I live at because again, I'm from Texas, and for whatever reason they don't ship. But I was able to find it at some other new store, so I'm gonna check out some of the other bottles. It's good. I don't know if y'all drink tequila or not, but this is a good tequila, man. I gotta say, I do like it. It's not cheap, how I mentioned, right? It's about like $55 or so. That's for the Blanco. I'll be back in 20 minutes. No problem, man. No problem. But how about y'all? What's your drink of choice? Do you drink tequila, whiskey, margaritas, or like mixed drinks, or just maybe you don't drink, right? Which is fine. You don't have to drink either. Um, for me though, I'm a tequila guy. Like there's something about tequila. Again, I know I'm Hispanic and ball means I don't know if that just kind of gives a, they're like, oh well, you know you should like tequila. You're Hispanic type deal. But hey, I do like it, man. There's something about tequila. It has nothing to do because I'm Hispanic. I enjoy the taste. Like I actually like the taste, right? Like I don't drink to get drunk or get wasted or nothing like that. I enjoy it, man. I like to sip on it, relax, and that's kind of what I do here on the live streams on Friday. We talk tech. We're gonna be talking AWS Lambda in a few. We talk Python, programming, stuff like that. So if you have any questions, whether it be programming related or maybe you have questions about the drinks, tequila, it doesn't matter. But you have any questions, man, leave it on the chat. Be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. But I'm a tequila guy. I like bourbon as well, but I would say my number one choice to drink is tequila. And that's what we do here on Fridays. Drink a little bit of tequila, code a little bit, talk about code, or go over AWS stuff. So again, leave any questions that you may have. I'll be more than happy to answer. The whole purpose of the live streams is to kind of help y'all out as well, but just kind of relax and have fun. So that's why I have my drink and then try to help y'all out. I get questions about, hey, can we walk through a process? Can you show me how to do this? Or can you show me how to do that, right? Whatever it may be. And that's what we do here on the live streams. I'll kind of walk through, be more than happy to show y'all how to do, whatever it is that you're interested in, right? Again, programming or tech-wise. I'm a tech guy as well. I enjoy hardware. So if you have any hardware question, CPU, RAM, I may be able to help you out as well. That's not my expertise, but I know it decent enough anyways. But hopefully all of y'all doing fine, man. Man, that tequila's good. Even the more I'm drinking it now, like I took another sip, it just goes down that much smoother. It's full of flavor. I like it because it has no additives. It's done the authentic way of making tequilas, right? The way it should be done. Dude, this is good. I like it. Let's see. Again, guys, let me know if you do have any questions. We're gonna get started in a few minutes going over. So I got a request. The request was, hey, can we walk through the process of deploying? I made a video over related to downloading Python files and my bad, using Python to download SharePoint files and upload it to S3. So ultimately, we're going to take that code, but we're going to put it to a Lambda function. That's kind of is going to be the go here, right? So let's kind of go ahead and start walking to those steps. Let's see. Yep, I should be able to show this. This is fine. Lambda function. Okay, so before we even try to deploy anything to Lambda, let's go ahead and Let me find that project, right? So let's go to my GitHub account. Let's see. I don't know. I'm not sure which repo it is. So let's look at all of our repos. It would probably be not this one, SharePoint to Azure Blob. So this is a new one. Again, some people use Azure instead of AWS. So you use Azure and you need to send it over to a blob. Check out this video. This will kind of give you the steps of how to do that. So this is download files from SharePoint. This is the one I'm looking for right here. SharePoint files to AWS S3. Right, so this is what I'm interested in. I'm going to go ahead and clone this. And then I'm going to end up... I don't know if I need to make any changes. I think I should be fine. I'm trying to think. I would need to make change. Well, let me think about it. So we have a config file in here, the way we did this project. Honestly, we could probably use environment variables instead of hard coding our credentials in here. And that's probably more ideal anyways to do it that way. Because AWS will kind of secure the environment variable. So let's kind of walk through the process. And let's see. All right, so let's go ahead. Let me copy this because I'm going to clone this. With my terminal. Let's see. All right, cool. Let me make it bigger. Yep, so everybody can see. Oops. So it's under code, sandbox. Yep, I don't have that in here, so I'm gonna do git clone. I'm gonna clone that project. Cool. So now let me open up Visual Studio Code. What is this? Oh, I know what this is. Let me close out of that. Let me open up the new project. The one that I just cloned. So let me go, where is it at? C drive, code, sandbox, and it's gonna be this guy. So we're gonna make some tweaks to this, right? Some of the tweaks that we're gonna make is, hold on, let me make sure. No, I shouldn't have nothing hard coded in here. I don't. So see how we have these variables in here? Ultimately we use for like our credentials and things of that nature. I'm actually gonna scrap this, and what I want to do is I want to use variables in Lambda function. So let's go ahead and start creating a function, right? So let's just do a test. Let's create function. Let's see if we could use something that exists already. S3 get objects. I don't think we need to, man. I already got code for what I need. We're not doing any HTTP endpoints to like execute it. We could just call the function and run it, so that's not an issue. I guess let's do from scratch. Let's do Python 3.8. Let's see. Use existing rows. So I have this service row, Lambda basic execution. Let's go ahead and use this one. We may have to change the settings, but we'll play around with that in a few. This row must have permissions to upload logs to AWS Cloud Watch. So let's see if we even have those permissions, I guess. So if I go to my IAM rows, go to rows. So it should be this guy, Lambda. Yeah, so it'll be Lambda basic execution. What do I have here? So this kid just created a resource specifically for that Lambda function. So let's see, what else? What did it say that I needed? CloudWatch. Oops. Let me attach. So let me go back. Make sure you have permissions to upload logs to CloudWatch logs. CloudWatch logs read-only access. I'm gonna need write access. CloudWatch logs full access. Shouldn't be full access, but let me just do it for now, just so we can kind of test this out. So let me attach. Okay, I'm gonna create. What am I gonna call this? I'm gonna call this SharePoint to AWS S3. All right, that's gonna be the name. Advanced settings, enabled code signing, blah blah blah. Enable VPC. Connect your function to a VPC to access private resource. Okay, and then I'm going to connect it to this. I don't know if I need to do this though. That's the thing about it. Do I need to connect it to a you know what? I don't think I do. So I'm going to uncheck that. It makes sense to do it, but I don't think I need to in my case. All right, cool. So now that I have this, so now let me go back to my project. Let's see. So let me look at configuration. So see, there it goes. Environment variables that we have here. So add environment variables. So this is where, let me kind of go back to my project and see I have a SharePoint username and so on. So let's kind of add some of these on here. So I'm going to call this SharePoint user, and this would be my contact iamlou.net. Then of course I will go through and start adding all the other ones. This would be SharePoint password. So I'm gonna do that last because I want to be able to put all the other ones in. So let's do SharePoint. What is the URL? I could get that real quick. Let me see. Let me get that URL. My other variable is going to be SharePoint. What is it called? Site. Oh, my bad. So this is my SharePoint site. My SharePoint URL, it's going to be this guy right here. So there it goes. The next one is going to be SharePoint dot library, which is going to be just shared documents / Alright, so now the next one's going to be AWS bucket Maybe I don't need to do all of that. So I'm gonna do AWS access key. Yeah, access key. I'll put that in a few. The next one is gonna be AWS secret access key. Oops. Alright, then the next one is going to be bucket name. Damn, I just thought about it. Do I have... I think when we're doing... I need to check. I don't even know if I have one yet. Or, either way, we'll figure it out. So bucket name, I need to see what my bucket name is going to be. Let's take a look. So I got a few buckets. Let's see. Staging. Okay, I'm gonna use this bucket. This is gonna be the bucket that I'm gonna use. So this is gonna be my bucket name, and then it's gonna be bucket subfolder. So in this case, it's going to be staging. Yep, just staging. So that's what it's going to be. All right, so I'm going to put these in. I'm trying to think if that's all. I think that is. No, you know what? Where's my password? I'm missing my password one. So I need to do SharePoint password. Yep, that's it. So let me take a snippet just to know what my keys are. And then now let me go ahead and let me put in this information, then I'll save and get out. So let me find it real quick. So the first one is going to be my password for Office. So let me put that in. All right, the next one's going to be my keys. So here's the thing about it though, man. Now that I think about it, I don't think I have a I don't think I created a then you know what? I think I created from one of my other accounts that I was using. Damn it. Let's see. Let me try to create this right quick. So I should be able to share my screen here. Let me go back and share my screen. All right, so you know what? So because I have two AWS accounts. One that I use more like production, than one that I'm using for testing right now. The production one is the one that I initially kind of use the API keys for that. My access keys, I mean, to that account to be able to just upload and test it out because I already had it created. I don't think I have that created in this environment. So let me do something real quick. Let's see. All right, let me switch my screens real quick. I need to check in one of my folders. I think that's where I have all my information. This is under, let's see, Tech Docs, AWS. Let me see if this is it. All right, let me sign into my other account real quick. Let me check something out. I'm trying to think, man. I swear I have it. I should have all of that saved in here. Oh, there it goes. I do have it. Right. Okay. Hold on. Hold on. Let me check something out real quick. I think I did create it. Oh, I did. I did. There it goes. Yep. S3 axis. Perfect. I got it. Never mind. I don't need to. I do have it. Cool. So now let me get this set up. So this would be, let me copy this. This is access key and then secret key. Awesome. So now let me go ahead and save. Damn it. I hate that it actually shows those values. I wish it didn't show it. Now you gotta make sure I don't show my screen. Okay, that's fine. Let's see. All right, cool. So now let me not show this. Let me get out of this. All right, so I can show this. It's not a problem. Okay, so one of the tweaks that we're gonna have to do. Again, I'm not using this anymore. This code, this file, better yet, the JSON file. So this is really gonna get scrapped. If I go to my project, not my project. I need to go to my SharePoint. So instead of reading the file and doing all of that, which is what I did here, and also instead of bringing in the configuration, which I'm going to get rid of as well, this piece here, I'm not reading it from the JSON file no more. What I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be reading it from the, again, I'm not going to click on it because I don't want to show it again, but if I show my screenshot, these are the keys, right, that we set up. Our environment variables. So I'm going to be calling these guys to pull those in. So let me go back. The way we're going to do that is going to be through, I already got the OS. I'm bringing that in. And then I'm going to end up using my environment, os.environment. So in this case, it would be os.environment, then it'll be the name. So I think I called this SharePoint user, os.environment. I called this SharePoint password. Okay, so this, what do I call this? Did I call it SharePoint URL. SharePoint site, and then this would be called, what did I call this? SharePoint doc library. All right, cool. So again, I'm not reading that file anymore. This file not even needed. I'll keep it in here, but it's not going to read it. Not going to do nothing, right? Just there and to be there. And ultimately, it's going to be pulling it in from our environment variable that we set up, which makes it a little bit more dynamic from a function standpoint in Lambda. Because if things change, you just make the changes in the Lambda function for it to operate, right? So that'll be fine. Cool. So let's see what else. So now that we updated this guy, oops, auto save. The next one will be project. So same thing here. I'm calling my config file, and I'm reading the AWS bucket section, which we're not going to use no more. So now I'm going to end up replacing this same thing, right? Am I bringing OS? Yep, I'm already bringing the OS in. So it would be OS, and I believe that's the name I gave it, but without the ID at the end. Yep, that's fine. Same thing with this guy. Same thing with bucket name. Same thing with subfolders. Okay, so now that we have all of that set up, we're good. Now, one thing to keep in mind, we got these other arguments that we brought in, right? These are kind of like, so you run the file, makes it dynamic. So we're actually going to remove these, and we're gonna be bringing these arguments in from an environment variable. So same thing on kind of what we did over here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually add, what do we have? We have these 4. Not actually 4. I'm going to actually remove a step. And I did this in one of my other videos. So see this argument here, which is saying save to destination folder. What was happening was we're downloading SharePoint files. We save it locally, and then we upload it to S3 bucket. Well, there's no need to save it locally when we could just take it, keep it in memory, and move it directly over to an S3 bucket. So because of that, this is going to go away regardless, right? I don't even need this in this case. And that's where some of this other stuff is going to go away, like save file. We're not saving file. We don't need to save any file anymore. When it comes to get file, we're going to download one file at a time. We're not going to save anymore. We don't need to generate the full directory path of that file. What else? The file name. Well, I have file name here. This is like the actual file name. So I do need this. Never mind. So I need this because if we have a subfolder, which we do, it's going to concatenate that together to ultimately build the file name, which you got to have the folder pass in there. So that's actually fine. This guy here, so it will be bucket with the bucket name, which is fine. The actual file name, which is fine. But this guy, we're not going to be reading the file no more. This is going to be, we're going to pass in the object of the file, right? So that's what we're going to pass in here. So now if I go back to this function, let's take a look at it. This is going to be file object. All right, so when it comes to uploading, I guess we'll test it out to make sure that it works. The reason why I say that is the way this function works here. I don't think I could read. Yeah, I can't read into it. I believe it is looking for an actual file to read to be able to upload to an S3 bucket. For the other project, the one I just did, where is it at? So let me go to, this is the latest one, which would have been, why are they not showing it? The Azure, the blob, go to projects. Yeah, in this case, I literally just, in order to upload, you have to provide the object. But the thing about it was the AWS, Let's see. So let's take a look at the documentation real quick. No, let's look at the docs. Where the documentation at? API reference. In this case, we're going to be looking at client and then upload file. S3 client. So where's upload file at? Upload file. Oh, there it goes. Upload file object. This is what I'm going to need. Upload a file like object to S3. Instead of a file, it's an object. That's what I need to do here. Perfect. Okay. So that's where I'm going to have to make that change in here. Instead of being upload file, so this is going to be my file object. And then, of course, this is going to be file, upload file object. Perfect. That makes sense. Okay, so now that I have that, this is we want to get one file and so on, or get files, which that's what we're doing in our case. Get a file by pattern. So I think everything's fine here. Again, we don't need a save. We're gonna kill that. We don't need this. We don't need a. We could remove that as well. I don't need all of this. Okay, so now going back to our arguments. So we already talked about how this is getting removed anyways, right? Because that's not needed. So, but we still have these other three arguments. The folder is going to be which SharePoint folder we're going to be downloading from. Like in my case, this was an example. And then you have our patterns or files. We just want to download one file. Or file pattern. So we're going to add these to our environment list like the way we did over here, right? So I'm not going to be able to show my screen because I'm going to show all the information, but keep in mind like this example here with the SharePoint folder, that's what I'm going to call it, SharePoint folder. This one would be called, what is this? SharePoint file name. And the final one will be SharePoint file pattern. So that's what I'm going to end up calling them. And let me go ahead and do that. So let me stop sharing. Oops, let me find my... Okay, cool. So let me go back to my environment variables. Let's add some more. I'm going to add SharePoint folder name. And in this case, what is my SharePoint folder? I think it's called Data 2022. Yep, that's what it's called, Data 2022. So it'll be Data 2022. My next variable is going to be I'm going to call this SharePoint file name. I'm going to put none. The reason why I put in none is because for what we want to do, we want to be able to download all the files. But if you ever decide to change the rules where we don't want to download all the files, we just want to download one specific file in that folder, then you could change it from none to whatever file you wanted to download. SharePoint. The other one would be SharePoint file pattern. This would be none as well. Let me save. General, cool. Okay, so now I could go back sharing my screen. So now we're gonna change these. Instead of these being system arguments where we gotta pass it into the file, now they're coming in from our environment variable that we set up. So in this case, it would be SharePoint folder name. This one would be called SharePoint file name. And this one would be called SharePoint file pattern, right? So we have SharePoint folder name, file pattern, file name, file pattern. So I think that's everything, man. That's all we have now. So we don't need the JSON anymore. This could go away. We don't need system anymore. That could go away. Let's see. I think we have everything, man. Everything that we needed. Hold up. You know what? This is not right. Or is it right? No, it is right. Never mind. Yep, that's right. Yep, everything's good. Let me see. I'm trying to think. Okay, so now that we have that updated, we do have our requirements file. We have this. So in reality, we don't even need our config file anymore. I mean, we really don't. So I'm just going to delete it since we don't need it. This piece we don't need, so I'm going to remove that as well. Just doing some quick cleanup before we package this as a zip file and push it out. Okay, again, so the main thing that I did here was I kind of removed all the variables that we're using, like stuff that we're reading from our config file and all of that. I changed it where I really set it up on AWS side, and now I'm just reading the variables from there. So if you ever have to make changes in the future, you don't need to go into the code. You just go into your configuration in Lambda configuration, then you'll click on environment variables, and from there you can modify and change those values. Cause maybe you know there's a SharePoint migration to another site. Well, now you can point it to that new site. It's a different folder. You can point it to the different folder, right? You can do all that stuff. It makes it a lot more easier to manage this way. So without changing your code. Okay, so now that we have that done, I'm gonna save. Let me go to my folder. C drive, sandbox, and it's this guy right here. So this is our main file that we're gonna end up needing. Requirements. So let's give it a try. I'm gonna run compress. It's a zip file now. Okay. So now that I have it as a zip file, I'm gonna come back to our project. I'm going to go to action. No, not action. Let me go to code. And I'm going to upload from zip. Let's see how big it is. It should not be that big. Nope, it's not big at all. Cancel, that's not what I wanted. Code, sandbox. This is my zip file. Let's open it up. And let's save. Boom, so we have our files here. Pretty much overrode whatever was there already. So I think by default, let me see if I could see it. Well, damn, you know what? I think I did forget something, I believe. Let me go back. There has to be a starting point, right? And by that, I mean, I think right now it runs this because of when you run the file. But I really need to change this and put it into... Hey, what's up, man? See that you're back. Cool. So ultimately, man, what I'm doing right now is I'm taking the Python file the script that I put together, which is the download from SharePoint, upload to S3. I had to make some changes Some of the main changes that I had to do was these variables that we're setting. Before, the way it was built was these were coming from a JSON file. Well, I got rid of that, and the reason why I got rid of it is because in AWS Lambda, if we go to the configuration tab, I'm not going to click on it because I don't want to show everything, but I have a screenshot to at least show. Um, you could add environment variables in here. So, for example, you can see I have my SharePoint user, URL, password, all of that stuff, and of course you enter in your information here. This will kind of help keep it secure on AWS side, and then you would just have to call these keys to utilize it in your file, which is kind of what I'm doing here. You know, I'm calling them here to be able to utilize it in my file. One of the things though that I think we're gonna have to do here with Lambda is, in order to run this script, we have to call this file, then we have to call a function. Well, right now I don't really have a function. I have the if-else statements to run, which run this code. I'm really going to have to pack this now into a function. So in order, it runs this function, and then it'll call these other functions as needed. So that's kind of what I'm going to do now. I'm going to call this, I'm going to call it run. That's going to be the name of the function. And that's it. No parameters. It'll be called run. And then ultimately it's going to run this, which again runs all the other stuff going on over here. So now that I have that, let me save it. Let me go back. So I'm going to delete the zip file that I had, and I'm going to go ahead and re-zip this folder. Cool. Now that I got that, we need to re-upload our code base. Alright, cool. So now that I have that re-uploaded, I can see my project file. And there you go. It has run. Awesome. So now that being said, let's see. See right here what says handler? It's looking for Lambda function, Lambda handler. Now remember, by default, when you create a new project, Lambda creates a Python file for you, which is called Lambda function. Inside that file, you have a function called Lambda handler. Well, our function and our file are not called the same as theirs. So, you know, ours is called project and it's called run. So that, and for me, now what I got to do, I have to come to my handler. I'm going to hit edit. Now I'm going to change this to project. Then it's going to be run, because that's the actual name of it now. So now that I made that change, let's see. So now let me check my S3 bucket real quick. What do I have? I have it pointing to this. I'm going to delete this. Alright, so that has been removed. So now that I have my project in here, let's give it a quick test. Oops. Let's see. There's still one thing though that I feel we're missing, and that's going to be um not trying to save. Unable to import module project. No module name project. Um. You know what? I wonder if it's because it's. How do I get the full pass? Copy file pass. There it goes. So let me go back to my handler. Let me see if that was the issue here. Unable to import Python, blah blah blah. No module name. Did I put? I don't need that. That's wrong. Okay, let me go back. Oh man, hold on. You know, I'm trying to think now too. Let me see. I believe this actually has to move over another level. Let's see. I think that's what it is. I think it needs to be in the root level. Which means now I need to come back over here, put it back the way I had it. Project.run. Save. Let's see if it's able to find it. Nope, it cannot find it. Let me see. What am I missing here? Your directory structure should be. So this is my my function, Lambda function. This file is on the outside. Let me see how I have. Oh, okay. So let me go back. This is always the tricky part, man. I had some issues with it before. Let's see. So what it is in this case, it want this to be in the root file, right? And which I think it is now. I don't think it was, but it is now. But probably could do this. May be an easier option, I think. So if I go to my S3 bucket, let me create a new bucket, and I'm gonna call this Lambda source code. All right. Create bucket. Oops. I'm gonna call the Lambda source code 1235 whatever. All right, so now that I have that, let me go back. So what we're gonna do instead is I want to upload my source code to an S3 bucket. So, but before I do that, let me check something real quick. Um, let's see. Um, so let me see. I'm trying to see where. So the thing with deploying it on a zip file, it has to do with the placement of the file as well. I know I changed it here, but I don't think that works in this case. Let's see, deploy package without dependencies. So in our case, we have dependencies. That's not the case. Make the Lambda function the root folder. Adding blah blah blah. Okay, deploy with dependencies. Let's kind of walk through the steps. Let's kind of to at least make sure that we're doing it somewhat the same. So let's see. If I were to navigate to my folder, that's where I have my source code. Cool. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to I'll just do a pip install target a dot package file. And in this case, what are we using? Which is share plump. Okay. So now we have this package file. So I'm gonna go into the package file. We have all the dependency that relate to what I just installed with share plump. So now that I'm in there, I'm going to do a zip -r dot what is my project called? Python SharePoint files to AWS S3. Did I spell it right? Yep, I did. Create a deploy package with the install libraries. Oops, my bad. So I'm going to be creating deployed package. So I'm going to call this let's call it deployment package .zip. All right, so that's what we're going to call it here. And let's run it. Oops. Damn it, I don't have, so I'm gonna have to, let's see, what is it for Windows? Windows zip command. Let's see. What is the command? I'm trying to see what the command is for in Windows, because it doesn't have the zip as an option. Let's see, for Windows. Okay, so I think I'm gonna have to install it real quick. So let me do that. Let's see. Okay, so let me check something out real quick. Let me close this out. Let me open up another one. I get it, it's not gonna like it. Let me now go to the properties. have it under my download forward zip. All right, cool. There it goes. So now that I have that, let me run that. Come back here. Zip.exe. Exe run zip. What the hell? Oh, it doesn't like. I forgot I need to put double. Zip error, nothing to do. Shit. There it goes. Forgot to put the star, and it got all the files. So now if I look at it, here's my package, and here's my zip file related to that. Cool. So now that I have my deployment package that contains all my dependencies, now I need to add my Lambda, my project file, to the root of the zip file. So if I were to go to my zip file, this is where I have all my dependencies. I'm going to need to add this file to it, but not just that file. I need to add this file as well, because this depends on this. So I'm going to have to add both files in there. Because I don't have my code just in one section only, right? So let's kind of now walk through that process. So now I'm going to come out. There's my files, my zip package, and then I'm going to need these two files added to the zip. So let's kind of do that. And this is going to be -G, my deployment zip. Now I'm going to specify my file. So the first one is project.py. Let's add that bad boy. The next one is going to be, what is it, SharePoint.py. Cool. So now I added both of those to it. If I go to my deployment package, we see those two files. So now that I have that, what I'm going to be uploading is going to be this guy, my deployment package. So now let's try it again. Let's do upload zip, my deployment, save. Ooh, it was right under 10 megabytes. So if it's bigger, then that's what you would have to use, probably an S3 bucket for it. Let's see. Okay, so let's see. Now that that has been uploaded, I'm gonna go back. Hold on, let's see. The deployment package or your Lambda function is too large to enable inline code editing. However, you can still invoke the function. Okay, so you can't see it then because it's saying it's too big, but it's there. So let's see if we could run it. Unable to import module project. Cannot find the name Unable to import project. So let me see, how do I have this configured? So I have it as project.run. You can tell the Lambda runtime which handler method to invoke by setting the handler parameter on your function configuration. When you configure a function in Python, the value of the handler settings, for example, main.handler, calls the handler method defined in a main.py, which makes perfect sense because that's how I have it on mine. It's project.run. If I go to my deployment project, which is right there, then if I don't think I could open this, or maybe I can open it. Nope, I can't. Was trying to run it, but it's saying no module name SharePoint. But again, that's not even the error I'm getting right now. I'm going to do this because it's actually maybe a little bit better. So I'm going to go back to my this. I'm going to upload. Oops, where is it at? So I'm going to upload my package over here. Upload. All right, cool. So now I'm going to go back to Lambda and let me add. Let me see. So I'm going to have to add it myself. That's fine. Yep, it wants the location. Copy. Okay, cool. So now it's pointing to that. It's able to get it from that. Let me do a test. What has happened? Let's see. Started. Unable to import module project. Cannot import name. So why can this section shows to view correspondent? Let's see if we can see more details in our CloudWatch. Unable to import project. It's the same information that I got over there. Why they're not able to import it? Should have imported. That's the thing about it. Trying to think now. Why they're not finding my project file? Created my deployment package. It has all my dependencies. What else? I added to my zip file my starting file, which is called project.py. I did that right. Oh, you know what I think? I wonder what it is. But no, that can't be it either, man, because it's not even finding the file. That's the thing about it. It's telling me that it cannot find the file, which doesn't make sense because I know it's there. It's right there. And for some reason, the error is pointing to this guy, the XML, but I'm not sure why. The E tree, like, why it's even Like, what the hell's going on here? So if it is bringing in package, well, it can't be. It's saying that it's not even finding it. Hmm. Trying to think why they're not finding it, man. So let me do something real quick, because I probably should have done this. I don't know why I didn't, but I should have. Let me go in. So where's my package file? Okay. So what I should have done here is a pip install target dot / package read requirements file, because it is missing all the other stuff potentially too. Warning, blah blah blah. Okay, that's fine. That's not needed. Already exists. Yep, because I did some installation earlier. So now if I go back to my package file, what's my package file at? It should be a lot bigger now. And it is a lot bigger. Alright, cool. So now that I have that, I'm gonna go into my package file. And then this is where I'm gonna do my zip again. Oops. R dot and it will be my deployment package zip. So I'm going to overwrite that, and then I'm going to go ahead and run that process. All right, cool. So now it's zipping pretty much getting all those those dependencies zipped. So now that has been zipped, let's go ahead and go back a level. And now we're going to have to add my other files to that zip file. So I'm going to have to add, which is project.py, and then my SharePoint. Okay, so now that I added that, let me go back. Let's re-upload it. Oh, my bad, not from there. Let's I'm gonna re-upload it in here, which is a lot bigger now than what it was. So so a zip file directly will not work anyway. It's too big. The limit is 10 megabytes. In this case, it's 17, so it wouldn't work regardless. I don't think I need to provide this again, but let me do so just in case. But I don't think so. Project.run, man, it should work. Let's run a test. Unable to import project. Again, though, why can I not import project, man? It's in there. It's in the main. It's in the main folder. Whoa, I'm trying to think. I wonder if that's what it is. Let me go back. Man, I wonder if this is what it is. No, hold on. No, that can't be right. Let me see. Whenever I go to upload from S3 location, when you upload a new .zip file package, it overwrites the existing code. Makes sense. Paste in the S3 link URL to your function code, which again is a zip file that it wants, which is what I have here. If I look at that deployment zip package, I do have my project folder here. I want to see something real quick, so I'm gonna go back. Oops, that's not it. Go back to functions. I'm gonna do create from scratch. Oh, let's do a blueprint. Something basic, right? Like your normal hello world. What I want to see is, let me just do test. Use the existing row, which is fine. So when we run the Lambda function, see how we have event, and then we have context. Event echo back the first key value, blah blah blah. The .zip file contains your function code and any dependencies used to run your function code. Yep, that makes sense. If your DOS is larger than 50 megabytes, we recommend uploading to S3 storage, which is I did. If you deploy packages containing native libraries, deploy, which I did. Well, I didn't do exactly like that, but no, I do have that. That's fine. You need to build. In my case, you cannot even find the raw file, the original file. Python package may contain initialization code int.file. Prior to Python 3.9, Lambda did not run the init.py package code for packages in the function handler. But in Python 3. Later, Lambda runs the int code for packages in these directories. But we're not running 3.9. I believe I have 3.8. If I'm correct, Python 3.8, so that shouldn't be an issue. If your function code is 3.8 or later, and it depends only on standard Python libraries, you don't need to include the libraries in your zip files. But in my case, it does. If your function depends on the S3 SDK, you don't need to include those libraries. It makes sense. It's already part of it. And then of course we go down to how to deploy it, which I did already. We walked through these scenarios exactly, and everything's working everything's looks good. So see how we have our deployment package, which I have. Then I have my project.py. They have on the dependencies. Deploy your .zip file to the function. To deploy your new code to the function, you upload the new .zip file deployment package, which I did. You can use the Lambda console to upload a .zip file function. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, either way, I did all that. The following example shows a file name of deployment package.zip. I'm not sure why it's not finding it though, man. Let's look at best practice. Separate the Lambda handler from your core logic. This allows you, let's see, so we have our handler, which has event, context, callback. So let's see what I could find related to that. So let's do AWS Lambda file not found. What was our error message that I was getting when I try to test this? Unable to import module. That's what it was. Unable to import module Lambda functions. Lambda functional module name. This error appears when you have it named your code file or function correctly. You need to go to Lambda function, your function configuration, check the value in the handler. So let me check that. Configuration. The value in the handler field, which is where general. I think this is the old where it used to be, because I don't think, how old is this post? 2020. They did updates, it's not there anymore. The format should be file name handler method, and that's exactly what I have on mine. So if I go back to code, runtime settings, the file, Python file plus run, make sure that what I have is valid as well. Run project. Did I spell project right? Yep, I did. And run. But what I did notice is that I don't know if this again. Let's see. I'm pretty sure the Python file that is acting as the handler has to be in the root directory as yours started. Kill your, yep, which mine is, so that's fine. Another source of the problem is the permissions on the file that is zipped. It must be at least worldwide readable. But again, on mine, it's not that it doesn't have permissions. It's saying they can't even find it. You know what? I think I know what it is. Let me try this out. So now let me go back. Let me add this to my package because I made an update. Let me go back to my S3 bucket. Let me upload the new version. Okay, so let me go back, re-upload this. Now that I have that re-uploaded, let me go back to my Lambda function. Close, upload from S3. Let me copy the URL. Save. Okay, so now let me go back to test. Test. What are we getting here? Same thing, man. I don't know why it cannot find it. It's in the right spot. I know it is in the right spot. Unable to import project. Damn it, man. Why is this? Does not make any sense. It has access to S3. It's reading the zip file. I know it is. Zip file is good because I see the file right there, project.py. So I know that's fine. But it can't find it. It's unable. Oh, my bad. Hold on. This is not it. Just say it's unable to import project. Cannot import tree, blah, blah, blah. So maybe this is related to permissions. Okay, I don't know why. I was thinking it couldn't find it. That's not what it's saying. It's saying it's not able to import. So let's look at what we may have to do with the permissions. I think somebody mentions that about the permissions when you do zip a file. This seems to work. We are so blessed you're a YouTuber. Like, you exist. Trying to, man. Trying to, right? You know, trying to help out the way, whichever way I can. And I know what I'm doing. Not a lot of people do. To be honest with you, I don't even know if there are other streamers doing, like, I mean, there are a lot of people that make YouTube like contents of programming. They make a video. But I know, at least that I'm aware of, I don't think there's a lot of people streaming like live and try to solve, like, again, like walk through the process of solving problems and, you know, trying to get things, you know, resolved, right? Sometimes some problems take a little bit longer. Others, they're a little bit more quicker. At least what I'm trying to do, we saw problems as well during live streams. As we figure out these problems, then normally what I will end up doing is I'll go back and I'll make a video. You know, because the video at least would be more cleaner. It won't have so much dead time of, you know, trying to figure out, or maybe we get stuck on something so small that could be probably permissions. And but either way, like, once as we kind of get this resolved, that's gonna be, you know, I'll make a video that'll be nice and clean and kind of go through the process a lot easier. And then once a video's there, at least it's there, right? You know, even for myself, like, I'm not always using Lambda. I'm not always using these other services. So, hey, maybe a year from now I need to use it. I go back and look at my own video for reference of what I did, or, you know, or maybe where I got stuck at. Let's see. So, I do feel this is gonna be permissions related. At least I'm assuming that's what it's gonna be, man. I found this a hard way trying all the solutions. If you are using a subdirectory in your zip file, ensure the init file in each of the subdirectories, and that worked for me. Well, that's not my issue though. That's not the issue with me in my case. Um, So let's see. What I'm wondering though, if it is permissions related. And this is straightforward because this is what I did on my side as well. And then we end up adding the Lambda function, which in my case is called the project the .py file. Let's see, to identify if this is the problem, your package directory in the zip must be world readable too. Okay, I know this is a very blah blah blah, so let's see. In- Included library dependencies in the layer. Each Lambda runtime adds specific. You know what? I did not see that. Let me check. Where would that be? Layers. Let's take a look at that. You can configure your Lambda function to use additional code and context in the form of layers. A layer is a zip that contains libraries and custom runtimes. Another dependency with layers, you can use libraries in your function without needing to include them in your deployment. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, if your Lambda function includes layers, Lambda extracts the layer context. But I have it all in my zip file, so that shouldn't matter. You can use. Let's see. I'm not earning now, still student, but hopefully soon. Learning under you, get a job soon. Again, man. I mean, there's no I enjoy what I'm doing, man. I really do. So I'm in a position where I could continue to do this, which is good, man. You know, right? It's one of those deals where um, it's a win-win the way I look at it, man. So if it hopefully if this does help you out and you're able to get a job, right? Get a job, you know, using because there's a demand, right, for AWS. Um, so if that's the case, man, that's awesome, right? You know, so any support you want to give my channel, by all means, you're more than welcome. But it's not. Don't feel obligated either, man, because you don't have to at all. Um, you can update the layers versions of the function using the blah blah blah. So I don't think we. That's not what I need in my case. See, like in this, that's something else. So let me see something. I know they mentioned that, but I don't think that's the case. So let me look at my code. Let me do actions. Let me do publish new version. Let me go to test. Still the same issue. Let's see. Man, why is it not finding that, man? I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be something so simple. Unable to import module, but why? Why can it not import it? Runtime import module error. Cannot import this. I don't know why it's trying to import this, but either way. Oh, you know what? Let me make sure that this has. I remember it mentioned in the documentation everything needs to have this int file. I wonder if this one doesn't have it or not, which is the XML one. No, it does have it, so that's not it. Hmm. Unable to import module project. Man, this makes no sense, man. I know it should be importing. Deployment package files right there, man. It's in the root folder, which means it should be able to read it, import it in. So let me watch. For example, let me kind of go back. Where's that other one that I created? Oh, I must have not saved it. That's right. So either way, if I go to, I don't know, click, start with a simple one. That's fine. Test Python 3.8. I just want to see the structure right quick, because man, I feel like I'm missing something, but I don't think I am. I don't think I'm missing anything. So here's our starting point of our folder. Then we have our function. We have our Lambda handler to ultimately, run. It is going to run whatever we have in here. Lambda function, Lambda handler. Same thing, Lambda function, which is the name. Lambda handler is the function, which is what I have. Project.py, then run. But it seems like it cannot find my project file. I'm trying to think why. Why can it not find my project file? So let me go back to the project we were working on. Project.run, which is valid. That's how it should be. Lambda function handler in Python. I mean, everything that I have seems valid. The Lambda function handler name specified at the time you create a Lambda function derived from the file name, which is what I have. Same thing. Then the name of the function handler. Straightforward. The first argument is the event object. So that's fine. Return value doesn't matter. Man, it does not make any sense. I'm trying to think, why can it not find my file? What's the reason, man? Why can it not find it? I'm pointing to an S3 bucket. It had my zip file in here, which is fine. The zip file has my project right on the root folder, so that's fine. That's not an issue. Try to think. It says it can't find it. When you configure a function in Python, the value of the handler settings, okay, you can tell the Lambda runtime which handler message to invoke by setting the handler parameter on your functions configuration. Again, I do have it on the root folder. I'm trying to think why. Why is it not finding it? It doesn't matter what the name is. Well, better yet, let me rephrase it. It's not. I'm still trying to figure out because they cannot find it, or it says unable to import module project, which is kind of odd. I'm trying to think why they're trying to import it. Cannot import name etree from XML. I'm not sure why it cannot import that in. Let me see if there's any issues reported related to this, because maybe there's some issues that have been. Let me see. Here's my etree. Let me see if there's any reports of issues related to that. AWS Lambda. Because I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that has this issue. After uploading running Lambda function, I received this error message. Okay, plugin service Python. I have installed in my UniV. I try to check package using so it seems like some people are having this issue as well related to this. There are modules that cannot be added directly into the site package directory by the recognized inside a Lambda functions environment. When this happens, you have to get an Amazon Linux image from Docker. For example, if you use Python 3.6, a good choice would be for NumPy. So I know these packages contain like C files, not like just Python, but they're like C compiled files as well. I wonder, and this one does too. I see it right there. We have a C. These are C files. These are not Python files. So I'm wondering if that's causing the issue there. Would you install the module as usual? Then create your function, Lambda function, and add it to the zip package. Which is what I did. I pretty much did all of this. Before uploading, you can check that your zip file contains the XML directories. which mine does because I did check. Now upload the zip and create an empty test. To create your function, before uploading, you could check damn. So I'm gonna have to play around with this. There's two potentially issues. One where it's not finding. Well, there it goes right here. See how this one got the same error message? Unable to import Lambda function, but then it says can I import this and this? So I'm wondering maybe that it's not that it cannot find my file. I think it may be able to find. I think it should find my file, which is my project.py file, and I think it is finding it. My issue now, I think what it's going to be is it cannot import this in. See how it says, can I import etree from LXML? It says I'm running on Ubuntu on local machine and have also tried Amazon Linux image to build. You know what? I think that may be the issue, man. I just thought about it. Pretty sure that's gonna be the issue. So I'm using Windows right now. So I think what I'm gonna have to do is, since AWS Lambda is not Lambda, it's being run on a Linux machine. I need to probably run go ahead and do my pip install, but on a Linux machine. Because if we go back, you could tell we have these C files here. These are most likely being, generated, compiled through Windows, and I bet you that it probably wants it to be compiled in Linux OS, because that's what it's running on AWS Lambda. Man, I have a feeling that's what it's going to be. So again, these are one of those strange issues where we just happen to be using a package that happens to be using another package that requires C dependency, C compile files. Like not all packages do that, but there are some that do. This happens to be one of them. Panda's another one. NumPy, like the analytical package. The reason why they're able to process the data and do a lot of things pretty robust is because they actually have C or C++ wrappers tied to them, which what that means is you're running Python code, but then what it does, it takes that code and sends it over to a compiled, like a C or C++ program, think of it that way, and then it runs your code in that manner, which runs it faster, but you're all doing everything in Python. So it's not the login, it's the I think it's gonna be because I'm running my zip process. I'm running my zip process in Windows, but that's not, again, Windows is not the issue for that. What happens is I happen to be using a package that happens to be using C compiled files, and because those C compiled files have to get compiled, In this case, it's using Windows OS system to do so whenever it gets installed. Um, where I think that's where the issue is. Those C compiled files, are most likely gonna be different than a Linux compiled files. Which for me, the big test here is gonna be, I'm gonna have to pretty much run the zip process, um, which I have over here. Just kind of show you. See, so if you look at the step 4, this is where I'm doing my installation of my requirements dot text file. So it's going to install all of the packages that I have in my text file. And it's going to install that and it's going to put it into this package file. What happens is some of the packages have C compiled files in there. I am using Windows. I believe, again, I need to test it out, but I believe that's going to be the problem. I think I'm going to have to run this process on a Linux machine. And the reason why is because AWS Lambda uses Linux. Now, that being said, you don't have to do this for every project or every Lambda function you create. It just happens to be that I'm happen to be using one package that has C compiled files. If you're using a package that does not require C compiled files, and most packages do not, there are some that do. The LXML is one of them. Panda is another one. NumPy. Again, that just to name a few. But some of these, they use C compiled files along with Python, and they do it more so because of performance. C by all means it's faster than Python, so the Python script pretty much wraps around, like, calls the C compiler to do specific tasks, and it does it very fast. So that's kind of the reason why they do that. So the logic will not work on Windows. Does it matter for AWS? So in most cases, it wouldn't matter if we're using Windows or Linux. I think the issue here is because I happen to be using Windows, and there's one package, at least right now that I could tell, it's one. Right? If I take a look at it, these are C files inside here, and they're part of the LXML package. But if I were to look at some of these other packages, like this one, this is all Python, right? There's no C files in here. Requests, same thing. It's all Python, pure Python. If you're dealing with what I want to call, packages that only deal with Python packages only, and no C or C++, none of that, then you could do what I just did on Windows, and that's fine. Then upload your zip file, and you will be fine. I think what's happening though is because that one package happens to, where is it at? This guy happens to require the C compile files as well. That's where I think causes an issue. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a test on it over the weekend on my Linux machine, which is a separate machine that I have, and I'll do the same thing. I'll run the I'll do the installation process and zip it up and do all of that and push it out, and I'm gonna assume that it should work. I shouldn't have any issues. The only reason why I could think I may have some issues if it relates to because it needs to be like the same Linux OS that they're using. I believe Lambda using the Amazon Linux, like their version of Linux. I don't know if that should be an issue though, but again, I'm gonna have to test it out to figure out if that is or not an issue, and kind of go from there. Again, right now it's a matter of trial and error. But I think the next thing to try is I need to run this process on Linux. Once I do that, so the Linux that I use for my work, I use Pop OS. So I'm gonna run this on that, see if it works. Hopefully it does work. If it does not work, what I probably try next is spin up an Amazon Linux instance, run it there, and then take that zip file, upload it, see if that works. And then at least that will let me know if it does work. After that, then it must be, and you need to compile, like you need to run that process on the same flavor of Linux that they're using for Lambda, and the only reason why that would probably be the case, if that is the case, it's because of the way it's generating the C compiled files. It's based on that version of Linux, and which means in order to run it, you got to be running on the same flavor of Linux as well. Again, I'll find out, but I think that's going to be the issue, at least from because I'm using Windows. That's the only thing that makes sense right now, man. Besides that, everything else seems fine. That's why I can't figure out what it is. But the more I'm reading, it seems to be related to that. And again, this is a part of um, the part of you know what's the word? As you kind of go through the process, it seemed like it should be straightforward. In some cases, then you got these nuances, and then you realize the new nuances relate to this other package that relates to another package that you're using. So at least I kind of have a little bit more understanding, I think, what's happening. Now I need to just run that process to generate my zip file, but on a Linux machine, and see what my results are from that. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna be working on it this weekend, man. So I'll let you know what I find. Um, and then if it works, I'll let you know. And then of course, whenever I have my next live stream, or whenever you join my next live stream, we kind of continue on to that. But I'll get that tested out, make sure that piece works. I know the other piece you were interested in was the event bridge. So once this is working, then we could like look into getting the event bridge tested out with Lambda, and kind of getting those things working together. So I'll keep you up, man. So again, we're making some progress, but again, it's part of and it's good that we're kind of going through this, because it's one of those scenarios where if you're doing it for a company and you get stuck, then you're like, what the hell? Why is it not working? Type deal. But at least now we're kind of exploring, we're figuring out these issues. So in the future, if you're ever working on a project that happens to be using Python packages that happen to be using C compiled files, at least you know that, hey, this may be an issue. And if this is an issue, I'm going to have to do this, go down this route to solve for that issue. So again, it's always good. I mean, these challenges that pop up, they kind of suck, but they're good too, because then it kind of helps you better navigate when in the future as well as the issue comes up. Again, I'm gonna test it out tomorrow, man. I'll test it out potentially tomorrow, and I'll let you know what I find, and we'll go from there, man. We'll pick up and we'll start doing, hopefully next, the event bridge. And start kind of working on that. All right, man. We appreciate it. Thanks for joining the live stream, and